And they're like, what are you doing here, Jojo? And he's just like, I have come to find the person who has been providing Asian medicine, a.k.a. poison. And they're like, why? Why do you want to know the location of this person who might have been selling Asian medicine, a.k.a. poison? Because I believe my father is being poisoned, and I want to find the antidote to possibly cure him. And they're like, oh, shit, you're like honorable and stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right, guys, you know what? He seems really cool. Let's not attack him or try to get on him his money. We're going to show you where they sell the Asian medicine, a.k.a. poison. Everyone's like, yeah. Jojo's like, thank you, razor-brimmed hat guy. He's like, no problem, man. So let's go ahead and move on to my review for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Episode 2, chat. So as I've said before, this is my first time watching this series. I know that it's been on for, 10 years at this point. Adaptation of very popular manga, which has been going on for decades as far as I know. Please do correct me if I'm wrong again. I'm going into this with fresh eyes. I know very little about this, but I really enjoyed the first episode quite a bit. I thought it was like really cool, just this rivalry between these two kids, these two teenagers, Jojo Joestar, Joseph Joestar, and Dio Bravo. Dio Bravo being the son of this just piece of shit of a human being who happened to have saved JoJo's father years ago. And Dio, who again, just also a piece of shit himself, going to live with the Joestars after the death of his father, and just making his mission to make JoJo's life miserable and to one day obtain, steal, manipulate his way into the Joestar fortune, to take it for himself. They covered a lot last episode, chat. A lot last episode, this explaining this rivalry between these two characters. But I'm kind of shocked. This episode starts 8 years later. 8 years after the events of episode 1, chat, and we find out, again, that we know that this is a period piece, takes place in the 19th century, in the late 1800s, and it starts out by saying, like, yeah, so it's 8 years later, and Jack the Ripper is prowling the streets of London, and he's murdering people, and he's stabbing people and slitting throats. It's like, whoa, oh my God. Well, that's a lot, but it's like, hey, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Yes, Jack the Ripper's prowling these streets. He's eviscerating people, killing women, left and right, because right now, the thing is, we can't concentrate on that because we got to concentrate on what's been going on with JoJo and Dio, chat. And we see JoJo. He's attending university, I believe, chat, and he got buff as hell. You see, he's swole as fuck. He's got the broadest shoulders I've ever seen, chat. So I don't know. It's like, wow, I guess living with Dio all these years has like toughened him up. I can't tell. I'm not sure what's been going on, what convinced him to get this way, but wow, he grew up a lot. He's like 7.5 feet tall. And he's excellent at the sports, chat. He's playing sports ball. I don't know if they're playing football or rugby or something, but they're having this match. He's having a match against this other university, this other school. And he catches the sports ball. He catches the hand ache, chat. And he just starts going. He starts, making his way to the other side of the field. And then all these other opposing players just try to tackle him. One guy goes for his leg. Other guy goes for his arm. Other guy goes for his torso. And he's still fucking moving down the field. They can't stop him, chat. He's too swole. But eventually, like, this fourth or this fifth guy comes in. And they finally stop him. But he doesn't fall down. He doesn't fall down. But he uses the remaining strength in his arm to just go, and he throws the ball like to his left. And you know who catches? Who's the other player that catches it? Is it his best friend? It's Dio, chat. Fucking Dio. He catches that ball. He runs down the fucking field. Yay! He did it. He scored a touchdown or whatever the fuck it is, chat. And everyone's like, woo! Everyone's like, they're so impressed. They're so impressed. And I'm thinking like, oh, wow. But, JoJo and Dio, they're like mortal enemies and everything. I mean, what's going to happen next? It must have took like a lot of, just a lot to just make that pass to his mortal enemy. And then as everyone's like putting Dio up in the air, they're like, yeah, Dio, you're awesome. Fucking JoJo comes in, and Dio looks at him, and JoJo looks at him. They lock eyes and go, ah! And they do the cool Predator bro fist handshake that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers did, chat. It's like the manliest bro handshake in the world. They're like, yeah, and they're just showing off their physiques and everything. It's like, holy shit. And they start complimenting each other. And JoJo says, like, man, you are so fast, you're so quick running down that field, scoring that that touchdown. And Dio says, hey, man, if it wasn't for you for passing the ball to me and like just getting all those players on top of you, I would have never been able to get down there because they would have all been coming after me. So thank you, brother. He's like, no, thank you, brother. And it's like, what the hell happened here? and they're like, yeah, and they're all like happy and stuff. And then Dio, he starts talking to this other guy, and then we just cut to Jojo, and Jojo was like, yeah, he's my brother, but I still remember him, like, sexually assaulting my girlfriend and burning my fucking dog alive. It's like, oh, okay. So they've just kind of maintained this truce. They're both kind of putting on a facade to a degree, but we learn that Dio hasn't done anything seemingly shitty since, sticking his dog in that box, JoJo's dog in that box, and then it burning alive in that weird, like, refuse pile. And so after that, things have been relatively, like, pretty cool with these guys. But JoJo hasn't forgotten. Like, JoJo's is like, I've trained all my life in order to better myself physically, emotionally, and intellectually. And I've done a lot of this because I still don't trust this fucker. Despite him seemingly being nicer, but he has never let his guard down, which I think is cool. And then we cut to Dio, who's like being interviewed by, I guess the newspaper, for the city or something about this amazing, like, damn, you guys won, you killed it. And they ask him about like, wow, you and your stepbrother, they say you and your brother seem to get along so well. Like your friendship is so strong, like on the field. Is it strong, off the field? And Dio's like, oh, I don't want to say. It's embarrassing to talk about. And he's like, why? Why is it so embarrassing? He's like, well, again, I came from poverty. And, I was welcomed by the Joestars with open arms, and I've always just been trying my best to prove myself, not just to them, but just to everyone, that a person can come from nothing, but if they're elevated and if they're given the resources, they can become a better person. I like to think that I become a better person thanks to my amazing family. And then it cuts into what he's really thinking. He's like, I fucking hate JoJo. I hate him. I hate him so much. I hate having to maintain this facade, but it's all a part of the plan. I'm like, oh, you guys haven't changed. Which I think is so funny. I think it's so great. But it's like, all right, so things have seemingly changed, but both of them know it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. They're just trying to maintain this facade and not trying to cross each other because, inevitably reveal what's actually going on. Eventually, though, they go back home and they go visit their father, who's very ill. He's very sick, chat. He's got a cough that doesn't go away. He's got chest pains. A lot of his, appendages are kind of swollen. His fingers are swollen, Chad. His feet are swollen. Maybe he's got the diabetes. Perhaps he's got the diabetes, Chad. I'm not sure. But he's not doing well. But he's so proud of his two sons. He's just like, oh, thank you, boys, for visiting me. And they're like, oh, Dad, it's just great to see you. Are you feeling better, Dad? He's like, I have my good days and I have my bad days. But today, sons, it's a good day. I feel much better after seeing you two. Just starts coughing. Like, oh, shit. Bloody phlegm everywhere. Just leaking pus. Not looking good, Chad. Not looking good. But he's like, oh, and he basically tells us, like, what the boys are majoring. He's like, oh, Dio, I'm so proud of you pursuing your law degree. You're going to become an upstanding lawyer. And you, JoJo, you've always had a fascination with anthropology and history, an archaeology major. You're going to discover so many wonderful civilizations. My two amazing sons. I couldn't be more proud of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But he's like, oh, Dad, no, we love you. They give him a big old hug and stuff like that. And we learned that JoJo, he's like, again, he's really taken the time like to better himself. Plus he's constantly on his guard because of Dio for all these years, despite a truce between the two of them and them acting nice to each other, seemingly almost like brothers and like friends. Like JoJo's never let his guard down, but he's really thrown himself into his studies, especially over The Mask that we saw earlier. this weird stone mask where anytime blood is splashed on it, these weird tendrils, these spiky tendrils come out and it attaches itself to the user's face. And, as it's one of the things that compelled him to study history and archaeology and the occult. And he's been doing as much research as he possibly can. This mask, he's doing experiments using his own blood, but he seemingly can't figure it out. And he's going through his father's private library one day, just trying to, learn more about like ancient masks from different types of civilizations. He can't find its origin point, but he ends up knocking down this case. This lockbox off the shelf. It's been there for 8 years or 7 years, and it falls down, and all these papers scatters. Like, oh no, all these papers, and he ends up picking them up, and he finds the letter. He finds the letter from Dio's father that was sent to Lord Joestar all those years ago, 7, 8, whatever years ago, and he starts reading. Goes, oh my God, and then it's like, oh, what did he find out? But we then cut to Dio, and he's talking to the butler. By the way, this butler fucking sucks. This is the same butler that I think ended up burning that dog alive. Piece of shit. And the butler's old and shit. He's like, my legs, I can't climb the stairs. And Dio's like, don't worry, butler. Don't worry, Jim Jam, or whatever the hell his name is. I'll go ahead and I'll take the medicine to my father. It's what I've been doing anyway for all this time. It's just part of my routine. It's fine. It's like, oh, Dio, Lord Dio, you're so great. Thank you for taking pity on a lowly butler like me. He's like, yeah, I'm great, aren't I? And he takes the tray. He has the glass of water, and there's this little handkerchief, little piece of paper, and the medicine's in there, like a little pill. But he takes that fucking little envelope, that little piece of paper, the medicine, and he puts another one on there. It's like, there you go. It's like, oh, so he's been replacing the medicine with something, Chad. What is it? What has he been doing? And so he goes, he admits. He admits what he's been replacing it with. He's like, I'm going to replace the medicine with Asian medicine, which apparently, Chad, I didn't know if you guys knew this. Asian medicine, also known as poison. I didn't know that. That's what it was. So all Asian medicine, Chad, is poison, a.k.a. poison. He pockets the real medicine, goes up there. And Jojo's like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just going to give Dad his medicine. And he's just like, oh, is that what you're about to do? Really? And he grabs it. He fucking grabs the thing, and he's just like, and Dio grabs it. Like, hey, what are you doing? That's Dad's medicine. And he's like, I just read this letter. He's like, so? It's like, this is a letter sent by your father 7 years ago, right before you came to live here. And Dio's like, yeah, so? He's just like, and he starts reading the letter, and, the Dio's father, starts describing his situation and how he's like, oh, my time on this world is short. I'm finally calling in that favor. I want you to take care of my son, raise your son as your own, so he can have a better life than I could have ever provided for him. I have this endless cough. I have this constant bloody phlegm. All my fingers and joints and feet are swollen. I got the diabetes. And Jojo's like, holy shit, this guy has the same exact symptoms that my dad does. And he puts together, this is like, did you fucking poison your dad? Or are you poisoning my dad right now? And Dio's like, no, I'm not. No, I love our dad. I love him. He's great. He's just like, all right. Well, you won't mind if I go ahead and get this tested. He's like, well, why would you do that? That's disrespectful, Jojo. We've been living very well these last few years. I look at you as a friend. Okay, I look at you as a friend. And he's just like, all right, well, if you say what is true, would you swear on your father's life, on your father's grave, that you're telling the truth? And this fucking sets Dio off. And he's just like, excuse me? He's like, would you swear on your father's grave, your father's life, the man you love? He's like, I don't fucking love that man. That man was a piece of shit, and he got what he deserved. And Dio's like, oh, what did you do? Did you kill him? I did what needed to be done. He's like, I'm going to go get this tested. I think this is Asian medicine, a.k.a. poison. And Dio is like, you're not going to fucking do it. And he's like, I don't care. I don't care what you're gonna do. You've always been a piece of shit, Jojo. And he fucking rears back and he boom, and he punches Jojo right in the face. And Jojo doesn't budge a fucking inch. He takes that punch like that, and it's as if Dio punched a stone wall. And Dio's like, oh my God. And yeah, Jojo's like, have you forgotten? I am fucking swole now. I'm 7.5 feet tall of pure fucking muscle. And Dio goes to like thumb Jojo in his eye. And Jojo just grabs him, twists his arm around. Dio's like, ah! And he just fucking pushes him off the fucking balcony. He falls off the banister, goes, ah! And he lands right on the ground, breaks the fucking banister, and Jojo's like, I'm gonna go to the place where to see if this is indeed Asian medicine, and you aren't gonna go near my fucking father, you prick. And Dio's like, oh god damn it, I fucked it up. I've played myself. Because he promised himself he wouldn't get angry. Because anytime he got angry, he revealed his true motivations. And so he's like, it's over now. I'm screwed. And so then what Jojo does, he's like, okay, I got to find out what this substance truly is. And so I got to go to a place where I feel like it came from. And so he orders only specific doctors to attend to his father. And the butler comes in there, who's supposed to give his father the medicine for like months or however long. The butler's like, oh, poor me. Fuck you. I would have fired that butler. I would have been like, you've been a piece of shit. You fucking burned my dog alive because you didn't fucking check. Why is this random box in the refuse pile? Oh, I don't give a shit. Who cares? And he ended up burning the dog. And you haven't been doing your goddamn job for months, which is provide his father with the medicine. Okay, he's been getting Asian medicine, aka poison, and you've been fucking up. I would have fired that guy on the spot. Get out of here. Okay. Anyway, but he assigns like these several doctors to attend to his father and provide him with the medicine that he obviously needs. And so he leaves. He eventually leaves. He gets in this coach, and Dio's just like, all right, I'm running out of time here. And Dio apparently has also been studying the mask, and he ends up taking it and like just leaving the manor, for the time being. He's just like, I need to get some air. I need to think about what my next steps are going to be. We eventually cut to we're in the city of London. And I guess we're in the bad part, chat. I guess they're going to Jojo told the coachman to go to the worst place in London, which is called Ogre Street, where they sell all the Asian medicine, aka poison. And the coach is like, I don't want to be on Ogre Street. And Jojo's like, you know what, man? If you want to get going, go ahead, go back. Tell my father, where I am, okay? And the coach is like, will do. It's like, these fucking servants suck, by the way. The butler sucks and the coachman sucks. Anyway, he leaves. And Jojo, he begins walking down Ogre Street, right? It's the middle of winter, too. It's snowing everywhere. When he starts walking down, and he's like trying to find a herbalist or a place where they possibly sell Asian medicine, aka poison. And he goes down this alleyway. It's a dead end, but he sees this like mound of snow, and it suddenly starts moving, and then this fucking giant cat pops up, and it's eating a puppy. A fucking cat is eating a puppy, and fucking Jojo even says, is that cat eating a puppy? Yes, Jojo, it is. It's horrifying. This show hates fucking dogs, chat. 2 episodes back to back, we saw one dog gets burned alive, and another one is getting eaten alive by a cat. It's like, I am not looking forward to what's going to happen in the future episodes, Chev. More dogs are going to get fucked up. I imagine so. I think it's like it's a common thing in this series. But he turns around, and suddenly he's confronted by these 2 guys that are at like the entrance of this one alleyway. And, these 2 guys are like, hey, or these 3 guys are like, hey, you shouldn't be around here. Give us all your fucking money. And Jojo's like, don't you know how swole I am? And they're like, we don't care how swole you are. We're going to stab you. We're going to gut you and take all your money. And these guys start running at Jojo. And My favorite one is the guy in the middle because he starts like everyone's like running, like the other two are like running normally, they're like, oh, they're gonna attack, but this guy's like, he's running like a fucking T-Rex, like running right at him, and they run at him, and they try to hit him, they try to go for just the punches, huge mistake. You should have tried to stab him first, and he brushes off their punches easily, grabs one guy, slams him into the fucking snowy cements and the cobblestones, takes the other guy, fucking throws him over himself, he hits a fucking wall. Both of them severely concussed, most definitely derpy. They're never going to be able to see straight for years to come. The other guy, I don't know his name. They say his name, but I didn't catch it. I'm gonna call him Kun Lao, Chan. The reason I'm gonna call him Kun Lao because he's the smarter one. He's like, oh fuck, this guy is swole as fuck. Hold on, shit. Like he was like, oh damn. So he takes a few steps back and he's like, listen, okay, just give me your money and there won't be any issues. He's like, well, fucking try to take my money from me, man. Okay, I'm on a mission. And he's like, I don't give a shit about your mission. I have a fucking razor brimmed hat. And he takes his hat off, chat, or he moves like the brim, and underneath there's like these knives. And then he has like these knives all around. He's like fucking Kun Lao from Mortal Kombat or Odd Job from, the great James Bond movie Goldfinger, chat. And he is like, I'm going to cut your limb off one by one, your limbs off one by one, unless you give me your money. And Jojo's like, go for it. And he throws the hat and Jojo just literally uses his arm and it gets right in there and it just starts like sawing into his arm. And the guy's like, holy fucking shit, he doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit at all. He's so swollen. Jojo's like, I am swollen. He grabs him and then he throws him. And then he starts to he removes the hat and he's bleeding everywhere, but it doesn't seem to affect him at all. It's like pains, like whatever to him. And I get suddenly, Chad, all the dirty pores start coming out of their hovels and things, and they all go to attack Jojo. They all go to attack him at this point, but Kun Lao, he recovers. He doesn't get derpy. He recovers. He's cut on his head, but he seems to be fine. But he looks up and like everyone starts passing by to attack Jojo. But he's looking at this guy. He's like, holy shit! He just shrugged off my razor brimmed hat like it was nothing. And he seems like he is a man on a mission. He's like, guys, hold on, everyone stop. And everyone's like, okay, all right, we're gonna stop. And he's like, all right, listen, man. So what's your deal? Why are you here? Who are you? And he's like, my name is Joseph Joestar. Everyone's like, oh fuck, it's fucking Joseph Joestar. He's like, he's really good at rugby. He's swole as fuck, and he's also the heir to the Jojo fortune. And we're like, what are you doing here, Jojo? And he's just like, I have come to find the person who has been providing Asian medicine, aka poison. And they're like, why? Why do you want to know the location of this person who might have been selling Asian medicine, aka poison? Because I believe my father is being poisoned, and I want to find the antidote to possibly cure him. And they're like, oh shit, you're like honorable and stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right, guys, you know what? He seems really cool. Let's not attack him or try to get on him his money. We're going to show you where they sell the Asian medicine, a.k.a. poison. Everyone's like, yeah. Jojo's like, thank you, razor-brimmed hat guy. He's like, no problem, man. Complete misunderstanding. Sorry about that. He's like, sorry for, severely concussing your friends. It's like, it's okay. And so they start Jonathan, Joseph, Jojo, good old, I'm going to call him Jojo. Thank you for the correction. But good old Jonathan, Jojo, Joestar, he goes to the guy, they go to the Asian medicine maker, a.k.a. the guy that made the poison. Meanwhile, we cut to Dio, and Dio's having a bad night. He hasn't really thought about what to do next, and he's gotten fucking drunk. He's drinking straight out of a Irish whiskey bottle, chat, and he even has this realization. He's like, oh my God, I am becoming my father, which makes him kind of sick to his own stomach. And eventually he bumps into these two guys that are just out on the night too, and he bumps into this one guy, doesn't apologize. Guy says, hey, why the fuck you bump into me, man? I feel like look at that, you got you. And apparently Dio was just pissing everywhere. He unzipped his pants. He was just fucking, freestyling, just pissing. And he ends up pissing on that guy. And the one guy, he's the fat guy of the two. You got a skinny guy and a fat guy, chat. And the fat guy's like, you're peeing all over me. What the fuck, man? And Dio turns around and is like, what are you going to fucking do about it? And he says, I'm going to punch you in the face. He's like, fucking bring it on, dude. And the guy tries to attack Dio. And Dio fucking takes the bottle, smashes it right into the guy's mouth, chat. Breaks from the guy's mouth, knocks out half his teeth, has his lips and his gums are completely... they're completely covered with broken glass. There's broken glass embedded in his goop mouth. And it's just like, oh my God, I was like, fuck that. If I was the skinny guy, I'd be like, okay, I'm backing up. I am not gonna fuck with this. I am so sorry. We're gonna leave. This guy's like, I still got it. It's like, no, dude, no. This guy goes to attack Dio. And Dio, suddenly, he has this realization. He's like, you know what? Now's the opportunity to try this mask out. And he grabs the guy, and he shoves the mask in the guy's face, but doesn't activate because it needs blood. It needs blood at this point. And so what he does is he takes the guy, and he runs at the fat guy. It's just like, and then Dio takes out a knife, slits the fat guy's throat. Huge blood spray comes out of him, just bleeds, he dies. And the blood hits the guy who's wearing the mask, and then suddenly the tendrils, the spiky tendrils, they embed themselves in the guy's skull, back of his skull, and then he just falls down dead. And Dio's kind of watching him going, oh shit, I'm glad I didn't put that on my face. I was gonna do that tonight. Holy shit, I am so glad I didn't do that. Just a stupid, useless torture mask, though. Whatever. Back to square one. Turns his back, starts walking away. But then we see the guy with the mask on. His hand suddenly starts moving. Starts like, it's like, oh, that's not good. And then Dio starts hearing movement behind him, and he turns around and he sees the guy just stand up and start walking towards him. And then the mask falls out, and he's like, he's a vampire. He got turned into a fucking vampire. And Dio's like, oh shit, you're a vampire. And he's like, ah! And he goes and yeets himself at Dio. And Dio tries to block him, but this guy's way more powerful. He's way stronger than Dio now. Guy punches fucking Dio in the chest, goes, ah! Knocks the wind out of him. He fucking flies across towards the river. Towards the river, there's this bear right there. And he hits it. Oh, he hits it right there. He's like, oh my God, he's so fucking strong. The guy walks up to him, grabs him. Dio tries to get his hand off. He can't. He's so fucking strong. And then he takes, the guy, the vampire, takes his other hand, because he's holding with his left, and just shoves his hand and his fingers into Dio's skin, into his neck, and the lower part of his mouth, and his fingers go underneath his skin. He's like, ah! You guys, you've seen the thing, right? So remember the scene where Wilfred Brimley's character, Blair, attacks Gary when they're trying to blow up the facility at the end? It's the same scene. It's really fucked up. And he's like, ah! And he starts draining Dio of his plasma, his blood, chat. And the guy's suddenly getting stronger and buffer and swole, just like, he's like, you remind me of Jojo. Dio's very upset. And Dio's like, well, I'm gonna fucking die. I'm gonna die. But then the sun starts coming up at this point, chat. And the guy's like, ha 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 ha. And then as soon as the sun touches his skin, he goes, psst, he goes, ah, ah. And the sun rises, and he just goes, ah. He's set on fire, starts flailing around and shit, and then turns to ash. And Dio's like, whoo, that was a close one. That was a close one. Holy shit. Okay, he's a vampire. And in this case, this fucking vampire, when they're hit by sunlight, they die. I am so glad I didn't put this mask on. I gotta think this through. I am taking this shit, though. And he gets the mask. He pockets the mask. And then he gets the knife, too. He's like, I'm at a scene of a crime. I gotta leave. And then he goes back to Joestar Manor. None of the servants are there. It's completely dark. None of the lights are on. He's like, what the fuck's going on? And then, boom, this one light comes on, and it's Jojo just standing there. Jojo's standing there, and he's like, Dio. And Jojo's like, what? What do you want with me, Jojo? And he's like, I went to Ogre Street. and I found out where you got the Asian medicine, aka poison, and it is indeed poison, and you're in trouble, Dio. It's all over for you. And Dio was like, no! And that, my friends, is my scene by scene by scene by scene breakdown, chat, to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure episode 2. Lots happened just in these 2 episodes, chat. I did not expect that nearly 8 year time skip, but pretty goddamn cool. Kind of flowed right into this next episode, and I like it. The mystery of the mask, it thickens. It gets a lot thicker, chat. 3 C's thick. Pretty goddamn cool. But wow, very fun episode. Liked it a lot. Not sure why they're calling poison, aka why they're calling that Asian medicine, but I don't fucking know. But it's been really fun. Been really, really fun. Oh, Lord. As you fun fact, Araki, the creator of JoJo, didn't want Dio to be loved, and he figured the surefire way for someone to hate a character is to have them kill a dog. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Oh, Christ. An apothecary. Herbologist, whatever. Asian medicine. Pain don't hurt. Jonathan. Thank you. Absolutely amazing. You're reviewing JoJo. I personally love your anime. Oh, thank you. Diabetic koala. Speaking of fucking JoJo's dad, Lord Joseph, he's got the diabetes, apparently, caused by Asian medicine, a.k.a. poison. Oh, Christ. That's where the vampire blood sucking the fingers begins to do. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I love it. So this episode, you're going to start to really see the creator, Hirohiko Araki, has this real appreciation for buff male characters. Yeah, I see that. That's pretty much becomes his signature. Very cool. Probably translated Japanese versus Chinese races. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, it's Dio Brando. Oh, what have I been calling him? Bravo? Whatever. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm still early on in these episodes. It's like with Yu Yu Hakusho. It's like with Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm going to butcher these names for a few episodes. That's just what it's going to be. That's just what it's going to be. I'm going to get there. I'm going to know all their names soon enough. Brando. Bravo, Brando. Oh, I know I'm going to hear it when I eventually post these to the YouTube. Oh, thank you. It's the Chris charm. I like to botch names. I'm going to put this in front of the review. Like, listen, I'm going to butcher some of these names for a while, okay? So just be prepared for that. But I'm going to get it right. Just get me a couple seasons in, and I'll nail all these names. Oh, Lordy. But yeah, it's I'm really enjoying this. This is fun. My audio video commentary for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is also up on my Patreon right now. So if you guys want to check those out, you can, along with Madoka Magica as well. So a lot of anime. See you in the comment section. So good. I accept Speedwagon being called Kun Lao, though. Is that his real name, Speedwagon? I'm going to call him Kun Lao from now on. I've always had nicknames. It's like with Kurama. From Yu Yu Hakusho. I called him Baby Jesus for so long. Yeah, some names that are gonna stick with them. Nicknames, that is. Oh, man. But there you go, chat. Yeah, I mixed up Chris Aries of Katria. How the hell did I do that? But yeah, it's fun. This has been super fun. I hope you guys have liked these reviews.